Hi guys, welcome to a brief inquiry into the 1975. It's our fourth podcast now, and today we're going to go through the self-titled album.
Woo!
I am so excited. Lori and Afton, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
You said that like the people from what's the fucking called? The Sound of Music. Shall we get into the news?
For sure. That was so perfect.
Oh my god. Okay.
That was so perfect.
Does someone want to start with some of the news? Yeah, yeah. Go for it, Lori.
Oh yeah, sorry. Matty was featured in No Rome's music video for 5 Ways to Bleach Your Hair.
The 975 finished their headline tour. That was, I think, like the scattered shows they played around Europe. I'm not actually too sure what those shows were. But they've kind of entered festival season. They've headlined, I think, a couple of great festivals. They did a headline. They like opened up for people like Fleetwood Mac and The Cure.
They've announced their next set of tour dates for the fall, in 5 stops in North America: Camden, New Jersey, Raleigh, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, New Orleans, and Broomfield, Colorado.
Yeah, that's very exciting. They're trying a new ticket website thing, and
It's like a lottery. Me and Hannah have both entered.
So then some other news is that they the first single has been sent to Spotify, so stay tuned for that. Very exciting, the first single from Notes. I'm gonna assume it's gonna come out either the first week of August or the week before Reading.
I'm thinking it might come out on that mysterious Google date.
Oh no. People were talking about that, and they were saying that everyone who's playing, I think it's a Summer Sonic Festival that weekend, that's happening for them. The date that comes up on Google isn't the date that they're playing, and that is the way it is for other artists playing that festival.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy to, I mean, I might be wrong. It could be a little bit of both, to be fair. It's just something someone noticed and mentioned.
Yeah, see, the reason I went by that is because, usually Google aren't the first people to know about that stuff.
Difficult for me to picture how the 1975 would hack Google like that.
No. I mean, since it was sent out to Spotify, there's a release date out there somewhere.
Matty mentioned in an interview 2 things. One, that there might not be many or any physical copy sales of Notes because of his commitment to a more eco-friendly distribution model. So what they're looking into is biodegradable USB ports.
However, the Drive Like I Do vinyl will be released. That's confirmed.
Okay, but it's
show.
It is confirmed the way Matty confirms things. I think anything that is confirmed doesn't need to happen and happens more than 6 months away is pretty up in the air.
I'm still waiting on that Reddit anyway.
So Homeboy deleted Twitter. He left Twitter.
Instagram, which backfired on him. Matty has gotten into 3 different, we'll say, mini controversies in the past week or so. He used a word that he knew is, a common ableist slur on stage. People got mad.
Opener festival in Poland. There's a large fan response to it. And then he responded in his story the next day, apologizing to anyone who was offended.
I mean, yeah, it's a sensitive thing, you know what I mean? I think, he's apologized. I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean...
He did delete the apology, though.
He did delete the apology about 3...
Oh, did he?
Yeah, about 3 hours after it went up.
His apology was also extremely condescending.
I think it was a bit of a dodge.
The apology was basically, sorry, you guys don't know big words like me.
Well,
and then he deleted it.
I don't know if I think it's the difficult thing of being able to convey both sides of what you mean in an Instagram story. I don't think he's very good online, to be honest with you. The points I can pull up the exact thing he said. I used the word, and then he says the R word, yesterday when going off about something on stage, and even though I was wanting to use the word literally, I realized that the dexterity of my vocabulary is not as important as the feelings of disabled people who could be potentially offended. So for that, I am sorry.
Okay, yeah, that is a big dodge.
Yeah, So I think one of the things that is happening now is that because he's on Instagram more, he's participating in Instagram more, if that makes sense. Ashton, do you want to talk about the photography thing?
The second thing that Matty received backlash for in the past week was posting a picture on Instagram that a photographer took of him without any credit, which people were rightfully annoyed by. Eventually, he did credit the photographer where it was due.
I do think the context of the event was really important because it was maybe 24 hours after, I don't know the actual guy's name, but his @ is like Roberts with a dot after the first R. And he knows Matty, so I think there was a then he followed him, so I think we're Gucci. So on to the album. Let's get some background info. It was released the 2nd of September 2013, and it was produced by Mike Crossy. It was recorded in Liverpool from autumn 2012 to 2013, and I think at the Motor Museum in Liverpool where they did it, that's the last project that Mike Crossy worked on there, which is where he did all his other stuff with Arctic Monkeys and Foals and all that jazz. So it's a cool thing, I thought. It was 5 weeks spread across a long period of time because they were also doing tours from autumn to spring, and there's significantly more than 5 weeks in that time frame. The album was panned by critics, as I think we all know. There were 5 singles released from it, which were Sex, Settle Down, Robbers, and Heart Out. How many tracks? 16, I think?
I think so.
Alright, Laura, do you want to talk about what this was like for you as a first listening experience? Not for the podcast, but you have a much more refreshing one then.
I mean, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I listened to it at least this year for the first time. I mean, I don't know really. Like, I think it's a really good debut album. I think it perfectly encapsulates what the 1975 are, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the album is this is like a compilation of all of their stuff they've been through, as a band for the last however long. So it really does feel like a presentation of a identity in that sense, because it's kind of like a greatest hits album.
Another thing I like is, like, I find the songs on it sound like, I don't really know how to even say this, but they sound really different, yet they all kind of have that same kind of sound to them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the 1975 sound, which I know is really hard to describe, but I don't know. I just think it's a really good album to get into the band first with.
Yeah, I think they didn't hold back,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every song they wanted to be huge, and I feel like they said that. Yeah. Okay, then I think we're ready to get into the album. And in the background, if you can hear, is the first self-titled first 1975 version we get. These lyrics are really simple, and I think a really pretty way.
Yeah, and I think this is probably by far my favorite version of this song.
Yeah?
I think my one's probably still the one on A Brief Inquiry.
Yeah. I don't actually know. I don't listen to them very often. I think, this one seems the most... maybe the reason that I really like this one is because, now that we have the other two, feels like a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
It was we're gonna do this every time now.
Oh, right, yeah.
Rather than, this is what we wanted to do this time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the city.
We talked about it both of the EP podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what else is here. Oh, there's more echoey stuff. I feel on his vocals. They're a bit different. I don't really know.
Right.
I feel this song is messier than other songs.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
In the way it sits. All the other ones are kind of pretty pop songs, and this one just actually stands out a lot. Like, when I always came back to it, I was like, woof. Or if I listened to it on shuffle a couple times, I was like, oof. This is like, I'm gonna drop this Easter egg now. I think that every first single song, so the first, like, real song on every album, has just one line as a chorus.
Wait, what's that?
There's only one line as a chorus.
This, interestingly enough, this third verse, Matty came in on Genius like 6 years ago and said, we found the third verse written down on a piece of paper in the back pocket of a pair of jeans, and still they don't know where it's from, what it's about. And he's just like stuck it into a song. They had another verse written and he just replaced it.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think it's also a bit ironic the way that we like to imprint really personal messages into their songs sometimes. About him specifically, because he's the one who writes songs, and it's just like, nah, bro, found this in my pocket, like a grocery list. I hope like the backside of that was like, remember to pick up dog shit that you left in the park or something.
About like the bridge, because I remember like one line is like your brother's just out there and like he says it, so I'm thinking she's talking to him, but then you remember like his brother is so much younger than him, so it can't be talking to him.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't have no idea. I've never thought about this song like narratively.
Right.
To be honest, I've never really considered it one of those like incredibly cool ones. Oh my god, I love this song so much.
I used to literally, like, beginning of sophomore year, so that's what, September, October 2017. I used to listen to this song like on repeat on the bus to school, like obsessively.
It like.
And I'm gonna point out my favorite line too.
Yeah, do it. I think it functions as like half bop, half easy listening. That like doesn't like annoy me.
I love the guitar in this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
The harmonies here are really cool.
Yeah.
And the water droplet, I love that.
Right.
Like, I don't, like, I'd love to know, like, what George's sample file, like, SVTs, is that what they're called? Look like. Is that what they're called? I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. When they performed this song live back in the day, when they were, like, fire, no, I'm kidding, after this, like, MONEY part, which you'll hear later, they would, like, go all, like, gritty with it, and George would, like, get off the electronic kit, and it was great.
That's cool.
Here comes the second verse is my favorite. The last line of the second verse. Oh my god, no, I'm wrong.
It's okay. All of these kind of sound really similar.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm confusing it with, which does not sound the same as the verse too.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I quite like the bridge as well. Here we go. Third verse and favorite verse. The last one is my favorite line in the whole song.
I also love that lyric.
That is my favorite line in the whole song.
It's definitely. That lyric was my phone background for a while. I like just typed it out onto a thing and then saved as a. But
Oh yeah, I have one of those. I can't figure out what lyric I put, but I literally like found a picture, typed out the lyric, and said it's Rick and Roll. Oh, I can imagine how good that would sound.
Yeah, I would lose my shit. So that lyric that goes, and I can't believe that we're talking about him. I think that's another moment when him is referring to himself.
Right.
Oh, he mentioned that this song is like about the overarching theme about how he struggles to have platonic relationships with women. I think you can kind of pick that up if you read the lyrics, like, and dissected them. And, like, that is not something I would ever want to put out in a record.
Mm.
Me neither.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's, like, something that comes up a lot on this album in general.
I think also it's a little bit of a douchey idea.
You think?
You know what I mean? Getting friends with women because they all just like me so much.
I don't think he's saying that. I think he's saying, like, he struggles to hold those relationships.
Right.
That's why it's nice that the lyric in Undo is, I could hear you giving her head. Just saying.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never heard this one before, so you're gonna have to help me.
I've only heard it once, but I hated it.
I'm kidding.
As was I.
Nah, I love it.
I was just like so confused. First song that I ever heard by them, and I remember the first time I heard it so clearly. I think I talked about this in the first episode.
You did, yeah, I remember.
Just like, wow.
I mean, I understand a lot of people are, like, annoyed by it, but, like, I don't know, I still fucking love it. It's really
I'm sorry,
catchy.
the sound of Homeboy's voice is annoying. Like, I understand the hate for that. And I'm, like, in America who, like, likes the, like, British accents, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
whatever accent Homeboy's fronting is not it. Good old shuffle beat, we love that. Oh, I have a cool thing to say later. There's, this song's a bit interesting in its, like, structure. There's, like, a clear hook, but all of them kind of sound like sort of choruses, and then lyrics and melodies kind of repeat. Like, this melody we hear in the chorus. But it's ending a verse.
Right.
That transition from that thing to what we're hearing now, in live versions, Adam does, like, this guitar fucking great shit. It's a good moment. Oh, the one story I have about this is from an interview with Mike Crossy, and one of the things that they were talking about is, like, that they didn't want, and he talks about this again later, but, like, that they didn't want, like, crazy vocals and harmonies, like, intense ones. They wanted, like, a gang chant vocal, right? And so they'd, like, try to give the like, the voices that they were doing different characters, right? And stuff. So they were, like, yeah, so, like, they would, like, name the characters. The one that he mentioned was, like, so one of them might be an old geezer named Oliver. And I was like, I can never imagine Homeboy being an old geezer named Oliver.
I'd just like to point out that part that just passes my favorite part of the song.
Oh, yeah. It is good. I think that's my favorite part to sing. Like, sometimes I'll be able to get through the song without singing, because it's, like, it's ear candy, you know? But that part I'm always, like, here for.
I like the outro of this song.
So do I.
Me too.
This bit.
I think, like what you just said, I'm literally, like, physically unable to get through any song without singing along. I'm struggling right now, but Hannah did brief me, saying, don't sing.
No, that sounds mean. It was just because, like, when we sing, it's just hard to edit. I'll be honest with our lovely listeners. Well, full disclosure, I don't really know how to edit, so...
Please, God, contact us.
Please, if you're
honest truth.
Love the opening of this song.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And when the drums come in, oh.
This is just great. That first lyric is, like, quasi-lifted from the LCD song, to All My Friends. Is that what it's called?
Don't know.
I think he mentioned it in an interview, which is the only reason I know that. But
I think, like, for a long time it's strange, because, like, now I can't say that, like, I do like this song, but for a long time I didn't like it, and I really could not tell you why.
Really? Well, I get that though, yeah. I get songs where that, like, I randomly like them. But no, I don't know. This song is just so catchy. It really is.
Yeah, my favorite part of the song is when he says she's got a boyfriend anyway, and his voice is all like warbly and.
Yeah.
Great. And I can never quite imitate it when I'm singing along.
I love the harmonies here. I don't know if they come up really well in the audio, but in live versions it's good. I think one of my reasons that I think this song is like it doesn't feel as like heavy rock as Arctic Monkeys, and I don't actually listen to Arctic Monkeys that much, so if I'm completely wrong, I've only heard a couple songs, but I don't get the same vibe.
I think Arctic, I would say, like, it's not even, like, you can't even compare them. Arctic Monkeys, like, I listen to them a lot. Like, literally, when I swipe down to start playing my music, I was listening to Arctic Monkeys before we started recording. But I think their sounds are not even comparable.
Okay, yeah, and I think, like, I don't really know why, but one of the things that I think gravitated me towards, like, really liking the song, because it's not really my style, is, like, this is a really nice melody.
Right.
And, like, I don't think you get that a lot in, like, indie,
I can't say that I agree. Because, well, like, for me, particularly, like, this first album, the reason it's my favorite album by far is because this is what I listen to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I'm really into this stuff. So I really don't, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, just one thing that he said. I think the story is that they wanted to write a song with the name Sex, and I think that's how this started.
Oh,
and now we will just let Adam. Oh my god. This might be one of my favorite.
I don't know why. When I listen to Sex, I think of the music video for Girls.
Really?
Oh, because they were like linked. Yeah, we can get to that. I get what you mean. Great ending.
I love this part.
Rock and roll is dead.
I have that
God
shirt.
bless. The 1975. Is it?
I have that shirt. I wanted the jacket, but it was way too expensive. And then when they were releasing A Brief Inquiry, when Jamie said new merch was coming out, I tweeted him and I was like, "Is the old merch going to be taken down?" And he was like, "Yes." I was like, "Fuck." So I like raced and bought the God Bless the 1975 T-shirt. I couldn't afford the jacket, which I really wanted. And he lied because the old merch is still available on the Dirty Hit website. So
yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
He scared the shit out of me and tricked me into buying the T-shirt.
There is something that runs between all members and all people involved in the 1975. No, I'm kidding. It's that they're dirty cheats. No, I'm kidding. I love Jamie. He popped into a 1975 group chat I was in.
I love this song. I used to have lyrics from Talk in my bio, and I have the lyrics from the little album booklet up on my wall. So good.
I love the bass on this song.
I think this is the best drums on any 1975 song. Okay, by the sound.
I love Matty's, like, interesting, like, I know he said before he doesn't enjoy singing and he's not a vocalist, but I do love his vocals on this song.
Yeah, the vocal productions on this song is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
In a recent...
It made me pretty sad when Matty said he didn't like singing.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, this is the point I was gonna make, as... I guess we can start the point here, but, like, the boldness of these vocals, I feel like we don't get vocals, like, really belty vocals anymore. Like, the only other song is, like, I Couldn't Be More in Love.
I really like that. I'm a fan of, like, the loud vocals.
Like, those harmonies are really well done. The second mention of the Famouses follows.
I like this line, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
I think the line conversation superseded by the way he talks about himself.
I agree. I think this whole thing is about him.
Yeah. That line really just, yeah, that's you.
It me. For the people who care, I don't think people mainly might care, but this is a version that they chose the digital mixing of the song over the analog. And Chocolate is a version that they did the analog. If you care. I looked that up. I feel like this is the first song that I listened to, and I'm like, this and Chocolate are like the two 1975 songs that you get out of the first 5. Because, like, we get bombarded with them later that are like this like shiny kind of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of, there's a lot going on in that track, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you give it a hot second longer than she needs, goddamn. The next song.
I love this song.
Really?
Me too. I
Really
actually
nice.
quite, like, I like their interludes.
Mm-hmm. I really like it as an interlude.
It's funny because they play this song as the intro to Robbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
The next song isn't Robbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's I think the reason I like that is because you always hear like them talked about like we want it to be like a John Hughes film,
Mm.
in that sense of score and then being reprised, I think is really cool, and it does make it feel more cinematic, like for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It makes
This is the only song that was produced. Oh, maybe it's not the only song, but this song was produced completely by Matty and George. Mike Rossi was not involved in the production.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case. All of this information is from an interview that Mike Rossi did that's like so confusing, and if you know like everything about music production, it's probably like fan fiction for you, to be honest, but it makes no sense to me.
This song, Big Good.
This is one of my favorites.
This song, I already said I was going to compare it to like One Direction when they first went on tour, and it's just because the way that it's recorded is never the way that Matty sings it, and that makes me really sad. The chorus I'm talking about.
Sing along at the concert, and then they decide they want to change the song.
Yep.
And you're standing there, and you're like, oh.
And you're standing there like doing a almost harmony, but it wasn't. This was a song, I didn't mention this earlier, but there's a couple of songs that they started playing before the album was released on those early, like, I don't know, like, almost pub shows, maybe, that they were playing around the UK. So this melody. He doesn't go that way.
I am struggling a lot not to sing right now.
Yeah.
This song is such a bop. It's so catchy.
Yeah.
And can I say, I truly enjoy the remix of this song.
Oh my god. Oh, I want to point something out. This, like right here, this little like diddly.
Yeah.
I love that. That's it. That's all I want to say. Oh, no, I do have something cool to say. Is that like, like the first lyrics of those verses are like really simple, it's like soft sound, and then the next of it is super wordy, and I think it's really cool. The bass.
Yeah.
I love that part. Good job, Ross.
Yeah, Ross, like, it's incredible. One thing I kind of noticed is that the like bass, the lower harmonies remind me a lot of I don't know which song is it. I don't remember the titles of Drive Like I Do songs, but it's a song with Cellophane House in it. And the way at the end of that song that they like Cellophane House, like that part is mimics those kind of vocals a lot. This whistle tone is the most 2014 part of this album they could have put in. That bitch was everywhere.
Roberts.
Yes, which is the next song. This is the oldest song on the album.
Love the beginning of Roberts so much. Sounds so good. Love it. Good work, guys.
Yeah, she's starting. Again, we have like the beginning of An Encounter, right?
Yes.
Playing back. This riff.
Did you hear how fast it was going?
Okay,
Yeah.
let me pause it and explain to the audience why that is. It's,
We're using a bot.
yeah, we're using a bot on Discord, and I am 100% sure that the only reason that you're able to do this without getting an ad or having to pay for it is because of the fact that they randomly speed it up and slow it down. So,
Yeah.
it's helping us avoid copyright, and, I mean, it really do be like that sometimes. Carry on.
Hopefully it's helping us avoid copyright.
True.
Because we did get a copyright strike.
Yeah, rest in peace, Sincerity. So this was inspired by, like, True Romance, the song, and then a dream he had. And I think, it's a cool song, and I think it, like, considering how loved by fans it is, it's also one of those songs that I think is, like, so...
I, to be honest, never understood why people are so obsessed with robbers. Like, I like it,
Really?
but, like...
That hurt. I love this song. It's, like, so good. Perfect.
Like, I feel the the rom-com it's in that I haven't watched, or the teenage drama.
I was gonna watch it, but I never did.
No, I mean, like, anyone. Like, anytime I see, like, I don't know, like, anytime I just, like, am driving enough and the song comes on, and, like, I don't really do this that often, and maybe it's because the music video is so, like, well depicted, that, like, you can see this image so clearly.
Yeah.
Right.
This is...
Because there's a music video.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, like, you can see that in the lyrics. Like, it's...
Right.
You can feel it. I don't know, I think it...
It's my favorite part. I mean, since 2013, also this is my favorite part, but, I always thought the lyric was, Jesus, babe, you look so cool, and I thought it was better when I thought that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's so funny. The way that the first line of this bridge is sung in the Drive Like I Do version is significantly better.
Yeah, I
That's
prefer
my
the
favorite part of the whole song. So freaking good. Yeah. Sorry.
Cool. That screams.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
There's just, like... It just, like... I think it's, like, the biggest emotional moment. This might be the most, like, emotionally evocative song on the album, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree.
I think it's also the song that has documented probably the most moments in people's lives. It also is probably because it's one of their biggest songs, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. This is like, a lot of people have got this song specifically tattooed and stuff. I've seen.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Curtis Connor, famously.
Oh, love Curtis Connor. Where are my Curtis Connor citizens at? Leave a comment. Thank you.
Hi guys, Hannah here, just jumping in post recording as I'm editing, just because the last thing that we ended on was talking about Curtis Connor, and I wanted to, like, give you guys some things about, like, what we're planning to do with the podcast and other things. So this one is out Saturday. Hopefully the next one will be out not next Saturday but next Monday. And then we're also going to try, hopefully, if you guys want to participate, to read out, like, a fan moment or a funny fan story, or, like, a, like, moment where the 1975 were part of the soundtrack of your life. It doesn't have to be, like, incredibly emotionally dense or anything. I think we'd hear what the 1975 mean to everyone. Yeah, if you liked it, make sure to give it a comment and subscribe. If mainly me, but if any of us made a mistake, hit me in the DMs of at the 1975 podcast on Instagram, or drop them in the comments down below. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
I'm making a bracelet and I seriously fucked it up, and I think that you should know that, and I want you to leave it in the podcast.